The man who built his house on the rock was thinking about the future, thinking about the fact that a storm is going to come, and he wanted to be in a place where he would have been able to have, or his home would have had the resilience to withstand the storm when it comes. So it's not about the pretty looks. It's not about, the things that appear to be going okay. It's about, can you withstand the storm when it comes? Do you have the resilience? Do you have the emotional stability? Do you have the mental strength, the mental fortitude to keep standing or stay standing when these things come about? And that's what's important. Especially when I can't solve the problem or I'm at the dead end, even pray to I cry. Okay. Yeah, I understand that sometimes you can't figure things out. It will trigger emotions. But what I do, even if I do cry, as soon as I'm done crying, I'm ready to problem solve, because whatever this is, I'm gonna fix it, right? And I'm gonna find a way. And usually once I'm done crying, sometimes the Lord just downloads something on me that immediately just shows me, this is the way to do it, or this is the way you can approach it, right? So even though you are emotional, you can't afford for your emotions to take center stage continuously, because if they do, then what's going to happen is that you're not going to be able to hear when the Lord is talking to you. So based on what we went through last class, when we talked about incorporating routines and building, spiritual routines that you can incorporate into your daily life, doing this helps you to have a holistic living. And I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again. Your spiritual life is what sustains the rest. So if your spiritual life is not in good condition, then the rest of your life is not going to be in good condition. So you have to make sure that the spiritual life is fed and that is taken care of, so that the rest of your life, the other parts of your life, can work and is working the way that they should be working. Right? Yeah. So we talk about consistency and discipline. So you're probably asking the question, how do I build consistency and discipline? Yeah, I need to be consistent. Yes, I need to be disciplined. What does the how look like for getting that done? And the first thing that you need to do in terms of building consistency and discipline is to set clear goals. You need to define what you need to achieve. You need to know exactly what you're working towards. You need to know what resources you have that can make it easier. You need to know how you're going to stay focused. You need to know how you're going to stay disciplined. And one of the methods that I use to set my goals is the SMART method. That's SMART. It's an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And don't worry about it, because we're going to go in depth into that in our goal setting sessions as well. The other thing too, in terms of building consistency and discipline, is start small. Don't feel like you have to start with the whole heap of things on your back that is going to be stressing you out. You can start with a small routine, maybe 2 or 3 things per day, and decide that you're going to do that for a month. Decide you're going to do that for 2 months. Decide you're going to do that for 3 months, and see how it works. And then you reflect and gauge yourself after the 3 months. And then after the 3 months, you add something else, right? So as time goes by, you take your time and you add little things and you phase it in, so that you are not overwhelmed. Because trust me, life is going to be happening even while you're trying to implement these things, and life is not going to stand aside and watch you implement the things that you learn here. Life will still be happening. So you're going to have to find a way to balance all the things that you need to get done. And one of the best ways to do that is through starting small, right? Also, building, as I said before, we spoke about this before, being that creating a routine is a very good way to, be consistent and disciplined. Track your progress. So whatever it is that you're doing, track your progress. Make sure that you are able to identify, areas of weaknesses, the areas that are your strong areas, whether or not you need to input additional information. Do you need additional help? Do you need another accountability partner? What exactly do you need? And when you're tracking your progress, this is data that you can now actually use to improve yourself. And in tracking your progress, you can use a journal. For some, I like to write, so I'll have a lot of books. And I find that when I write things, it makes it easier for me. But for some persons, they can't be bothered with writing. There's so many journal apps on Play Store that you can download and use if you are somebody who does not like to write. Planners and those kind of things can help you to track your progress. And for those of you who are actually going to be getting the planner or planner, that planner actually has a layout for setting your goals. First of all, brainstorming your goals, setting your goals, tracking your progress, doing all of that. So when you get your planner, you'll be able to use it to do all of that, right? Stay organized. Keep your, both physically and mentally, keep your work and living spaces tidy to minimize distractions. I would encourage you to look into your mind space and look at the things that are there that does not need to be there. And please empty the garbage. There are a lot of us have so many things in our mind space walking around with that we know to God we don't need. That person who you had that thing with from 10, 15 years ago that you're still holding on. You don't need that. Forgive the person and keep it moving. Even if the person is still holding on to that grudge, let them hold on to it. That's their business. You have no need to hold on to that. Administer the forgiveness that is needed and just keep it moving, right? I have friends, that people that I were once pretty close to, and things happened in the past, and friendship broke up. We're not in any malice. I don't have them up. I don't know if they have me up. I don't think they have me up. But at the end of the day, our relationship is not like what it used to be. But we're not in any malice, right? I don't need to be best friends with you to pray for you. I have prayed for people that I don't even know, much less the people that I know, right? So the things that you have that you need to get out that are not serving you, this is the time now to do a mind assessment and just throw out those things that are not working for you. Make sure that you practice self-discipline, because that is a part of, building your consistency and your resilience. Find accountability. One of the reasons I asked you guys to choose an accountability partner is because it's good to have somebody in your corner. It's good to have somebody that you can tap into to say, I have this to do, but I don't have the energy. I don't have the strength, but I'm going to need you to hold me accountable. I'm going to need you to wake me up at 5 a.m. I'm going to need you to, set an alarm and help to hold me accountable. That's what your accountability partner is for. So I hope that you guys are making connections with your accountability partners and getting to know each other, because this person that is going to be holding you accountable with, going to be holding you accountable can be a lot of things for you, right? And that's why mentorship is so important, because mentorship is a form of accountability, right? Rewarding yourself. There are a lot of us who have problems, like significant problems with rewarding ourselves. We will give up our best to everybody else, but when it comes to us, we just get the bare minimum. Stop doing that to yourself. If you are giving 20 to everybody, give 20 to yourself. As a matter of fact, If you're giving 100 to everybody else, give 100 to yourself. You owe it to yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And so if you keep giving to people and you're not giving anything to yourself, one day yourself is going to stop giving, right? And when that day comes, you're going to regret it. So you need to make sure that whatever it is you're giving to other people, you are also giving to yourself. Don't go out here forgiving other people of what they have done to you, but you can't forgive yourself for the mistake that you made last year, or you can't forgive yourself for the mistake that you made 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, or 10 years ago. You're still holding yourself and still thinking that you're not a good person because of a silly mistake that you made a few years ago. Forgive yourself just the same and keep it moving, because if you are not forgiving yourself, that is also going to be a roadblock to you uncovering your purpose. Learn from your setbacks. Failure is information, right? Don't look at failure as like, boy, me can't do anything right. I am just failing over and over again. No, failure is information. Every time you do something and it does not work out the way that it should have, take your pen and paper, go sit down. What did I do wrong? What didn't work out the way that it was supposed to do? What can I change? What can I improve? What do I need to incorporate in order to make it better? That is how you are going to learn from your mistakes, and that is how you are going to get better, right? But if you sit down moaning and groaning that, boy, no matter what me doing now work, it's going to continue not working because you are not using the data that you are getting from your failures to improve yourself, right? And even with things not working out, I want you guys to also remember that timing is everything. There's nothing that God is going to do for you that's going to happen outside of its time. You could have prayer from now till next year. If it's not time, nah.